There's a certain kind of magic that happens when the first light of morning peeks through your window. It dances gently on the curtains, stretches across the wooden floor, and touches your skin with a tender warmth that feels alive. Have you ever paused in that moment, felt it, breathed it in deeply? At 84 years old, I still do. And what's even more surprising, I wake up every day not feeling like an old man, nearing the end of his story, but rather like a young soul just beginning another wonderful chapter. I know what you're probably thinking. That's nice for you, but it must be luck, good genes, maybe just denial. I used to think that too. I thought aging was an unstoppable downhill march. I thought aches, loneliness, and fatigue were simply the tax we paid for having lived this long. But what if I told you that everything changed for me because of something so small, so laughably simple, you could almost miss it? Something that takes only 4 minutes a day. Today I want to invite you into a quiet revolution, a gentle rebellion against everything we were told about getting old. Let's walk together through stories, through science, through tiny secrets that can spark a new fire in your heart, no matter how many candles were on your last birthday cake. Are you ready? Let me start by telling you about a man named Daniel. Daniel was 84 years old, much like me. If you had met him just a year ago, you might have mistaken him for much older. His steps were slow and heavy. His face, though kind, was often clouded with exhaustion. He spent most of his days in his worn recliner, the TV humming dully in the background. He'd mutter sometimes, getting old is just waiting for the end. One morning something happened that scared him deeply. As he shuffled toward the kitchen for his coffee, Daniel tripped over the edge of a rug and fell. It wasn't a bad fall, no broken bones, just a bruised knee and a bruised spirit. But for Daniel, that moment was an earthquake, a jolt that woke him up. He sat on the floor longer than he needed to, thinking, is this it? Is this how it ends? In slow, small collapses, that night unable to sleep, he stumbled across an article online about the power of micro habits. One idea struck him. If you can't change everything, change something. Start with 4 minutes. The next morning, Daniel did something different. Before reaching for the remote, he stood up slowly, deliberately. He set a timer for 4 minutes. And for those 4 minutes, he stretched his arms above his head, rotated his ankles, breathed deeply and simply moved. It didn't seem like much, but that small act whispered something to his body, something it hadn't heard in a while. You're alive. You're strong. You still can. Day after day, Daniel kept up with his 4 minute routine, and slowly, like the first tender shoots of spring, pushing through hard winter soil, change came. His steps grew lighter. His posture lifted. His laughter returned. 6 months later, Daniel didn't just walk around his block. He joined a community garden project, spending hours outdoors, digging, laughing, living. Imagine that. A man who once measured his day in television reruns now measured it in sunrises and tomatoes. What if just 4 minutes could be the bridge between who you feel you are and who you dream to be? Daniel's story isn't a miracle. It's a map. And it's not the only one. Let me tell you about Elaine. Elaine was 81 years old, a widow who lived alone in a small yellow house at the end of a sleepy street. After her husband passed, she drifted into a life that felt colorless, like an old photograph left out in the sun. Meals were skipped, books gathered dust, the days blurred into each other. Her daughter worried about her, gifted Elaine a smartwatch one Christmas. At first, Elaine scoffed. What am I supposed to do with this silly thing? But her daughter had set up little reminders that would gently buzz on her wrist, encouraging her to do simple, mini habits. One morning the watch vibrated and the tiny screen blinked, stretched for 4 minutes. Something about its gentle insistence made Elaine sigh, and then smile. All right, she muttered. She stood up, reached for the ceiling, rolled her shoulders, took deep, deep breaths. The next day, another buzz. Write 3 things you're grateful for, 4 minutes. Elaine sat with a pen and notepad and scribbled, at first awkwardly, but soon with a surprising rush of warmth. My daughter's laughter. 2, the neighbor's roses. 3, the taste of black coffee. Each small ritual pulled a thread of light back into her days. She began to go for tiny walks around her garden. She planted new flowers. She even hosted a neighborhood tea party, the first in years. And it all started with 4 minutes. What would happen if you too gave yourself just that little opening, a sliver of time, a handful of breaths, a small act of faith that you are still worth the effort. Elaine and Daniel are not anomalies. They are mirrors reflecting what is possible for each one of us. You see, the world tells a tired story about aging, one of decline, limitation, and resignation. But maybe the real story is about tiny acts of hope stitched together day after day, turning old age into a grand, surprising encore. What tiny act might you choose today? Because as you're about to discover, science is on your side too. If you're still following us and finding these insights valuable, please leave your thoughts in the comments to let us know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss any updates. Your support enables us to keep delivering valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now let's dive into the next part. Have you ever wondered why something as small as a 4-minute habit could create such big waves in your life? It turns out it's not wishful thinking or old wives' tales. It's science, beautiful, powerful, liberating science. Let's talk about something called neuroplasticity. For a long time, scientists believed that once we reached adulthood, our brains were like hardened concrete, fixed, rigid, unchangeable. But modern research has blown that myth to pieces. Our brains, it turns out, are more like soft clay, capable of reshaping, reconfiguring, and growing. Even at 80, even at 90 and beyond. Every small action you take, every stretch, every breath, every moment of gratitude sends a spark through your neural pathways. If you repeat that action, the spark becomes a trail. Repeat it again, and the trail becomes a road. Keep going, and one day you'll find you've built a highway of habit leading you effortlessly toward energy, vitality, and joy. A study from the National Institute on Aging revealed something remarkable. Older adults who engaged in daily micro-habits, even as simple as 5-minute breathing exercises or gratitude practices, showed significant improvements in memory, mood, and physical health after just 6 weeks. Why? Because every small act taps into the autonomic nervous system, the body's internal autopilot. These tiny rituals calm the stress response, boost circulation, release feel-good hormones like dopamine and oxytocin, and slowly, gently rewire your body and mind for wellness. It's not about willpower, it's about momentum. It's about giving your biology a loving nudge in the right direction. And it all starts with the tiniest of commitments. But if it's so simple, why doesn't everyone do it? Why do so many people struggle and sometimes fail to create change after 60? That, my friend, is where we need to pause and look at the truth many people shy away from. Big changes, grand resolutions, sweeping goals. They sound inspiring at first. I'm going to lose 30 pounds. I'll start running 5 miles a day. I'll meditate for an hour every morning. But let's be honest, how often do those grand declarations quietly fade into forgotten promises? The truth is, after 60, change feels harder, not because you're weaker or less capable, but because your brain is more committed to safety. The older we get, the more our minds cling to the familiar. It's a survival mechanism. And when you try to make a giant leap, your brain panics. It resists, it whispers, this is too much, too dangerous, too uncertain. And slowly you fall back into old patterns telling yourself, I guess it's just too late for me. It's not too late. It's the size of the first step that matters, not the ambition, not the dream, the size of the very first step. A fascinating study by the University of California, Berkeley found that people over 60 who adopted goals that took 5 minutes or less were 78% more likely to stick to new habits after 3 months compared to those who aimed for big lifestyle overhauls. In other words, the smaller your beginning, the stronger your journey. What if instead of trying to conquer a mountain on day 1, you simply took one gentle step onto the trail? What if success didn't mean running marathons, but just standing up, stretching your arms toward the sky, and telling your body, I'm still here? Real change, lasting change, isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, loving, consistent acts of hope, acts that take just 4 minutes. Imagine what your life could feel like if you stopped battling yourself and started befriending the tiny actions that whisper, you're still growing, you're still vibrant, you're still enough. You are. And now, with your heart and mind ready, let's step into the simple, beautiful rituals that changed everything for me and can change everything for you too. If you're ready, truly ready to feel different, to feel alive again, then it's time to meet the tiny rituals that sparked my own transformation. Each one is simple, Each one takes about 4 minutes. Each one holds the quiet power to unlock a new layer of energy, joy, and peace within you. The first is the 4-minute morning stretch. Every morning before checking your phone or pouring your coffee, simply stand tall. Reach your arms up high as if you could tickle the clouds. Roll your shoulders back and down. Gently rotate your neck side to side. Breathe in deep and stretch your spine upward as if you are a tree growing toward the sun. Why? Because movement first thing in the morning signals to your body. Wake up, we're alive, we're ready. It boosts circulation, oils the joints, and releases tension built up overnight. The second is the 4-minute deep breathing ritual. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply for a count of 4. Hold your breath for 4. Exhale slowly for a count of 4. Pause for 4. Repeat for 4 minutes. This simple pattern known as box breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you responsible for rest, healing, and restoration. It washes away stress hormones. It floods your bloodstream with oxygen. It brings your heart and mind into calm, sweet harmony. The third is the 4-minute gratitude journal. Take a small notebook and each day write down 3 things you're grateful for. Not big things, tiny, beautiful ones. The warmth of your tea, the smile from your neighbor, the way the light filters through the leaves. In just 4 minutes, you shift your brain's focus from what's missing to what's abundant. Studies have shown that people who practice daily gratitude experience higher energy levels, better sleep, and lower rates of depression, no matter their age. The fourth is the 4-minute walking meditation. Slip on your shoes and step outside. Walk slowly, mindfully. Feel each foot kiss the earth. Listen to the birdsong. Feel the wind whisper against your skin. You don't have to go far. A simple loop around your garden, your block, your hallway, it's enough. The act of moving with awareness reconnects you to the sacredness of your own body and breath. And here's the beauty. You don't have to do all 4 every day. Pick one. Alternate. Mix and match. What matters is not perfection. It's showing up gently, consistently with love. Because in the end, it's not the grand resolutions that heal us. It's the small promises we keep to ourselves. Maybe right now, a part of you is whispering, can 4 minutes really be enough? Maybe another part of you doubts, hesitates, wonders if it's too late. Let's talk about that. It's one of the biggest myths we face, the idea that small efforts are worthless. We live in a world that worships the dramatic, huge weight losses, massive life changes, overnight miracles. But real life doesn't work like that. Real change grows quietly, like roots under the soil. A groundbreaking study from Stanford University found that micro habits defined as actions taking 5 minutes or less were 3 times more likely to become permanent routines than larger, more demanding habits. Why? Because they're non-threatening. They slip past the brain's resistance. They feel doable even on your worst days. Think about it. Would you rather promise yourself a 5-mile run every morning and fail after a week? Or commit to 4 minutes of stretching, breathing, or walking and succeed for a lifetime? Which one builds more trust with yourself? Which one creates momentum? I once read a beautiful truth. Tiny hinges swing big doors. Your 4-minute habits are those tiny hinges. And they have the strength to open the biggest, most beautiful doors of your life. Doors to vitality, to laughter, to feeling strong again, to remembering that you are and always have been so much more than the number on your birthday cake. So the next time doubt whispers in your ear telling you it's too late, too small, too silly, smile kindly. Stretch your arms toward the sky, take a deep breath, and whisper back, just watch me. Because the real magic isn't in how fast you change. It's in the simple, stubborn decision to begin. You don't have to take my word for it. Let's look at what science, the kind tested, measured, and published by the world's most respected researchers says about the power of small daily habits. The famous Harvard Health study on aging tracked thousands of seniors over 3 decades. Their findings were crystal clear. Individuals who consistently practiced small daily rituals of movement, gratitude, and mindful breathing lived on average 6 to 8 years longer than those who did not. Not just longer, but better, reporting higher levels of happiness, independence, and physical health. Another groundbreaking study from the Yale Aging Center focused on emotional resilience among seniors. Participants who engaged in simple 5-minute gratitude journaling or light stretching rituals had a 40% lower risk of developing depression over the course of 5 years. Imagine that, not with medication, not with therapy, but with tiny intentional acts of self-care. And if you look at the world's longest living populations, the so-called blue zones like Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, and Loma Linda in California, you'll find a consistent pattern. They don't run marathons. They don't lift heavy weights or spend hours in the gym. They live longer, healthier lives because of tiny, consistent habits woven into everyday life. Walking to the market, stretching in the morning sun, cooking fresh meals, laughing with friends, giving thanks. It's not intensity, it's consistency. It's not willpower, it's ritual. It's not magic, it's simple, stubborn kindness to your own body every single day. I sometimes imagine what it would feel like if every senior in the world decided just for 1 week to give themselves 4 minutes a day. Can you picture it? Millions of tiny sparks lighting up all at once. A soft revolution, slow but unstoppable, turning gray skies into golden ones. Why not be part of that revolution? Why not be the living proof that it's never too late to bloom? I know what you might be thinking right now. This all sounds nice, but is it too late for me? My dear friend, let me tell you something with every beat of my still strong, still hopeful heart. It is never too late. It is never too late to love your body. It is never too late to water your soul. It is never too late to begin again. Think of the tiny seed buried deep in the earth. It doesn't need to be told you're too small, you're too late. It simply listens to the warmth of the sun, the whisper of the rain, and it grows. No matter how rocky the soil, no matter how long the winter, you are that seed. You carry within you the blueprint for new life, not a copy of your past, but a brand new bloom you've never even seen before. Maybe you've spent years thinking that feeling vibrant, energetic, joyful was something reserved for younger people. Maybe you've convinced yourself that it's too hard, too big, too far away. But what if it isn't? What if all you needed was 4 minutes to stretch your weary muscles? 4 minutes to breathe life into your tired lungs. 4 minutes to say thank you for the gift of this day, this body, this chance. Not perfect minutes, not heroic minutes, just present ones, tender ones, faithful ones. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to become a different person. You only need to remember the truth: you are already worthy. You are already powerful. You are already capable of small, beautiful beginnings. The sun doesn't rush to rise. The trees don't hurry to bud. Life unfolds in its own sweet, steady rhythm. And so can you. So today, close your eyes. Breathe deep. Stretch your arms toward the sky. Smile, even if it's just a tiny, wobbly smile. And in that small act, know this: you are rewriting the story of your life, one 4-minute chapter at a time. So now, my dear friend, here, we are standing at a quiet crossroads. One path is the same old familiar way. Days that blend into each other. Dreams quietly folded away. A life lived safely but small. The other path, it's just a tiny step away. Only 4 minutes. 4 minutes to stretch. 4 minutes to breathe. 4 minutes to remember that you are still gloriously alive. The choice is yours. And I promise you, it's not a burden. It's a gift. Today, I gently invite you to pick one of the 4-minute habits we talked about. Maybe the morning stretch, reaching toward the sky with gratitude. Or the deep breathing ritual, letting peace flood your body. Or the gratitude journal, where small miracles are named and claimed. Or the walking meditation, each step a hymn to life itself. Pick just one and commit to it, not forever, not perfectly, just for the next 7 days. 4 minutes a day, 7 days. That's 28 minutes total, less time than one TV episode. But it could be the opening of a whole new season in your life. A season of energy, of laughter, of purpose, of sweet, simple joy. If you're willing, I'd love for you to share your choice in the comments below. Tell me, which 4-minute habit will you start today? And if you feel brave, come back after a week and tell me what you notice. Because trust me, you will notice. Maybe a little more ease in your steps. Maybe a little more sparkle in your eyes. Maybe a little more kindness when you look in the mirror. No matter how small it seems at first, every tiny act of love toward yourself ripples outward in ways you can't yet imagine. And I'll be right here cheering you on with every breath, every smile, every small triumph you celebrate. Because the truth is the world still needs your light. It still needs your laughter. It still needs your wisdom, your heart, your unique and precious presence. You are not done yet. You are just getting started. So today, right now, take a deep breath and plant your seed. Give yourself 4 minutes of love, 4 minutes of hope, 4 minutes of becoming, because you, dear friend, are worth every second. And oh, just imagine how beautiful your next chapter could be. Are you ready? Let's begin. Thank you for being with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and tell us one thing you learned and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your feedback means a lot to us, so please feel free to share. Reading your comments truly motivates and inspires us. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support enables us to keep creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.